Hey everyone, so if you are a virtual student, you're doing this live with your teacher during Teams time. If you are a hybrid student, this is on one of your asynchronous work days, so I'm just going to provide this video for you if you needed help with the assignment. So the expectation is that if you have this video open, you also have the assignment open and that you are pausing the video at the times you are told to do your work. So it's just like if we were in class and I set a timer for you to try it and then we go over with it. But you have to pause it yourself. So I'm going to hit next so we can get to the first slide. So we have exercise 1. So at midnight, the temperature was 54 degrees. Overnight, the temperature drops by 13 degrees. Give an expression that gives the temperature in the morning, then evaluate the expression. So what I want you to do right now is pause the video and try this on your own. Okay. So you should have tried this on your own, and now I'm going to go over it with you. So first thing I'm going to do is I always like to hit this type math button because it makes it easier and prettier. So the temperature started with 54 degrees. So I'm going to start by typing 54, and then it drops. This drops is my math action word. If we were doing cubes, I'd box it right now. And that tells me that this 13 is negative. So we always like to add, so I'm going to actually end up adding the negative 13 to show that it drops. If you remember the rules for adding rational numbers, they have different signs, so you subtract their absolute values. 54 minus 13 is going to be 41, and if we look at which number has the greater absolute value, so 54 is more than 13, 54 is positive, our answer will stay positive. You can hit share with class when you are ready. On to the next exercise, we have Sam had a bank account balance of negative $32. She deposited $28 into her account. Write an expression and evaluate it to determine how much Sam has in her bank account now. So depositing is when she's putting money into her account where it's going up, in case you guys did not already know what a deposit was. So pause the video to write your expression and evaluate it. Okay, so you should have tried this one on your own, and now I'm going to show you to review and make sure you got it right. So she started with negative 32 in her bank account. She deposited 28, so that's going to make her bank account go up. That's going to be positive 28 into her account. If we remember our rules for adding, we can do 32 minus 28 because they have different signs. We can do 32 minus 28. We get 4. To decide if this 4 is positive or negative, we have to look for the number with the greater absolute value. 32 is more than 28, so this 4 is going to be negative, just like that 32. So Sam now has negative $4 in her bank account. When you're done, hit submit. Next, we have exercise 3. So this exercise about Jenny playing a card game. So in one round of a card game, Jenny scored 157 points. In the next round, she scored negative 243 points. What was her combined score in points after 2 rounds? So pause this video and try this problem on your own. Okay, so I'm going to start by hitting this type math button. The first time Jenny scored, she got 157 points. Then she scored negative 243 points. So I need to add negative 243. Our rules say to subtract them when they have different signs. These are kind of starting to get to big numbers, so you may have noticed we have a calculator button on here. So I can do 243 minus 157 to get that difference is 86. So this difference is 86. Now I need to decide which one has the bigger absolute value. Negative 243 has the bigger absolute value. 243 is bigger than 157, so this 86 is negative, just like that. Negative 243. The other thing I want to tell you is now that we're getting good at these rules and you can kind of estimate, you should know by looking at 157 and negative 243, you're going to get a negative answer and you should be able to have a good estimate of what it would be. Maybe you're like, maybe it's about -100, just from looking at that, if you rounded and you estimated. If you typed it in your calculator and you got 300, you would know what's wrong. So now that we kind of have these rules that we know, and we know what would be a right answer in our calculator, we can start actually typing these exactly in our calculator. If you are using this online calculator, the negative button is the same as the subtraction button. That might be a little confusing because on our calculators in class, those yellow ones, the negative button is different. It's the button next to the decimal. But for this online calculator, we can type in 157 plus -243, just like we wrote it here, and it tells us it's -86. So we can hit share with class and go to the next one. So for this next one, we have 3 different classes. So 3 classes at Lincoln Middle School raised money to buy new computers. Miss Martin's class raised $249. Miss Freeman's class raised $396.62 more than Miss Martin's class. Mr. Joseph's class raised $430.43 less than Miss Freeman's class. What is the total amount of money raised by all 3 classes? So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to figure out how much each class earned. So right now you're going to pause the video and determine how much each class earned. Okay, so this problem here, it tells me right here, the sentence, Miss Martin's class raised $249. So there's nothing else for me to do. I got $249. Miss Freeman raised $396.62 more than me. So this more is telling me that we are going to be adding on to what I got. So she is 249 plus that 396.62. We get that calculator out again. Once we start getting big numbers and decimals and fractions, we should always be using the calculator. So 249 plus 396.62 gives us $645.62. Let's put the $sign there. So we know what we're talking about. Mr. Joseph's class raised $430.43 less than Miss Freeman's class. So if we started with what Miss Freeman got, Mr. Joseph got less than that. So that's going to be like adding a negative. So that's $430.43 less than. We can type this on our calculator. I know when I have different signs that we need to subtract them. This number should be something around 200, I think. So if I get a number that doesn't have something around 200, I know I typed it in my calculator wrong. Let's do 645.62 plus negative 430.43. And look at that. I got a number around 200. So if I type something in wrong, I forgot the negative and I got a weird answer, that would be my key to know. That's why we learned all those rules. So Mr. Joseph's class earned $215.19. Our question overall, what is the total amount of money raised by all 3 classes? So to figure out the total amount of money raised by all 3 classes, we need to add these all up. So this is going to be practice and typing in our calculator carefully and then writing it down carefully. So pause the video, see if you can find the total. Okay, so I'm going to show my work here. I'm going to hit type math. I'm going to do 249 plus 396. Oh, that's not what she got. She got 645.62 for Miss Freeman's class, plus 215.19 for Mr. Joseph's class. I'm going to type this carefully in my calculator to make sure that I don't make any mistakes. And I could already be estimating. I have like, that's about 250, that's about 650. So that would be about 900 and then another 200, so a little over 1100 maybe, or around there. And look at here, here's my answer. I got 1,109.81 cents. So $1,109.81. When you're all done, hit submit. Now we just have our glossary on the last slide, and then our Canvas practice telling us to go do independent practice 7, adding rational numbers. So you can go do that now.